All right, everyone, so this here is our Extreme Extractor plus a backpack that we use. So what we do with this is once we're done doing the moisture inspection and we're good to go ahead and start extracting the affected area on the carpet and pad, we bring this big thing downstairs or main level, wherever we're working at. And what we're gonna do is we get everything hooked up. Here we already have it hooked up. When we're hooking up the backpack, it's got two 110 cords on it. They're gonna go to separate outlets. If we're keeping it all on one outlet, it's just gonna pop that GFCI or it's gonna pop that breaker, and we're not gonna get moving anytime soon. So they'll always have to be on a separated GFCI. Once we have that, what we're gonna do here is we'll go ahead and get on, and I'll show first, but we'll go ahead and get on. There's a toggle switch here that's got on and off along with forward and reverse on it. So what we'll do is we'll put it on forward or reverse, whichever we're gonna go first. Then we're gonna have a fast and slow mode. It's preferably to use the about medium is what we want. The slower we're gonna go, the more water we're gonna extract. Our big principle is extraction. Part of that red tea, basically. So what we're doing here is we're trying to extract as much water as possible, so that way on the drying side, when we come in with the fans and the dehumidifier, it's gonna take less time to dry versus if we come in and just extract really quickly, leaving the carpet still pretty wet and damp, then our drying times are gonna draw out further rather than trying to go within our 3 to 5 day time frame. So basically what we'll do here is we'll get on, we'll start right in the Extreme Extractor, up and down. We're gonna be basically going, making a path up, making a path down. We do that about twice. Then we'll move over to and do a next row, doing the same thing once, twice, and then moving over again and getting out as much water as possible. Once we're completely done moving all the water, then we can go ahead and start setting up our necessary equipment that we need to get everything dried out on the carpet and pad.
So after we get done extracting, you turn your pump on because your water comes into this tank here. You turn your pump on and you can kind of see how much water we pulled out of there. Quite a bit of water coming out of this rug here. So we get all this out. Usually this goes to a toilet drain, you know, a floor drain, something like that. We don't just dump it on your floor, I promise. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of water out of there. We can kind of show you, you know, you got pretty splashy wet carpet over here, and then over here where we extracted, it's getting there. We're probably gonna have to run over this another time or two just to get as much as we can out, but you can kind of tell how much water we're pulling out just with those two passes. So that's kind of how this one works. We also have the truck mounts, which do the same thing, except for they kind of have one hose that comes down, hooks up to this. This part comes off, and we hook our hose here, and we ride it just the same way. So we got a couple different ways we can do it. These are, you know, really useful for, you know, say you're on the 3rd floor, 4th floor of an apartment complex. You can't get your hose up there. That's when we'll bring this guy in. It's really portable, could go anywhere kind of thing. And then if we do have, you know, something we can run a hose to, we have about 300 feet of hose on here, so we can run that into, you know, basements, things like that, if we can get the truck close enough. But they kind of do the exact same thing. One of them runs off the truck, the water goes into the truck tank rather than down a drain, but it's basically the same principle between the two of them. So we have a couple different tools that we can use as well. Besides this, we can hook a hose up to this on the front side and use, you know, kind of one of these wands. These are good for, you know, your hard surface, getting the big puddles of water off a concrete tile, you know, laminate flooring, something like that. You could use them on rugs, you could use them on carpeting, things like that. That's just one of the tools we use there. This is another good one. It's kind of a standalone deal. You kind of put it on there and you can stand on it. This is your weight to kind of squeeze that water out of that pad. This is good because it kind of sucks about 3 feet around it. So, you know, you can set it down as long as you got good suction. You set this down, you know, move some contents if you need to while this is running and extracting by itself. Then you kind of can move it spot to spot, and you just keep placing it kind of around your wet areas there. So Those are kind of the tools that we use to extract. As he was saying, you know, extraction's our main principle. The way we look at it is it's faster to suck the water out than it is to evaporate the water. So as long as you can get as much water as you can out with your extraction, like he said, it's going to speed up your drying process, cut down your drying time, which will definitely make your customers more happy, make your insurance agents and adjusters happier, because they're not paying for, you know, 7 days of drying rather than, you know, 2, 3, 4. Kind of depends on how big the area is, how much moisture you really have. But that's kind of how we start getting the water out when we begin the job.